happy friends. How are you guys doing? I have an SNL Saturday Stash Dive video for you today, or layout I should say, because it's not just a video. And I am using some gelatos on this already busy background. I used some gesso on it before, and I just painted it on with a paintbrush like I usually do. I didn't show it because you've seen me do it a gazillion times, and the way you apply gesso really is just ultimately up to you. I mean, I like the paint strokes, but I know a lot of people don't. And so I'm just going to use a little bit of water to spread these circles out. And I figure I want to use circles with the gelatos, and I'm going to use that Studio Calico paint as well. But I want to keep it really simple because my background is already pretty busy, but I just wanted to add a little mixed media just because it's something I like to do, and it just kind of adds a little funness to the layout. I mean, really, it's not required. And in a way, the gesso softens up the middle, so even though there is stuff going on, you don't see that much of it, and I think it kind of tones down that background because it's pretty busy. And usually I use just a white cardstock, so this is a little bit different for me. And so I'm finding that if I use a pattern paper, that I have to figure out different ways to use it so that it's not too busy. I mean, certain pattern papers aren't too bad, but I really liked this paper. It's from Pebbles. It's the From Me to You line, and it's older. I think it's from like 2013, 2014, so it's a little bit older. But I really like the colors. They're really super fun, and so I use quite a bit of the papers from that line. I add some other papers just to give it a little interest. So today we are going to be using Flair, and I don't know how much Flair you have, but since I'm a newer scrapbooker, I don't have as much Flair as probably a lot of the rest of you, but I'm starting to get a collection. And I think the reason why is because I don't have that much, and I just don't go to, a scrapbooking store or whatever and just pick out tons of Flair. So whatever I get in like a kit or whatever is what I have. And a lot of times I'll get like an extra pack, but I'll only use like one or two during like a kit season, so for like a month, so that it ends up adding up. And so I think the hard thing for me was to figure out how much Flair I wanted to use, with it being a layout about Flair, but making it look like it all fit. And so I had a problem with that because it's hard to use a ton of something on a layout unless you filled it all up and like covered it up with gesso. I mean, you could do that. I could have very well put a whole bunch on, covered them up with gesso, added paint or something to it, or I could have made my own like Adele does, but I don't have any of those epoxy stickers. I gotta find those. That reminds me. I keep thinking that whenever I see her layouts. Oh, I need to find those. That's totally off topic. So as you can see, I'm just adding a few layers to border my photos, and I have two photos, and one is not quite 4x6, and then the other one is about 3x5, or like 3.5x5 maybe. It's somewhere around there. I really wanted a bigger picture and a smaller one, but I didn't want them really far off from each other, just because I have a hard time if one's really big and one's a lot smaller. And I also have a problem if they're both the same. So I wanted it to be able to look symmetrical, or, look well on my paper. So I'm going to be using some of the papers from this line, and I love this rainbow print zigzag, like chevron zigzag. It's awesome. I think I'm going to have to use like a bigger piece for something else. Maybe like a card or something would be really fun. So I'm just using those as layers, and I'm making that classic L shaped. I thought that that would work really well with the way I have the photos, and just kind of change it up. I try to do that when I'm making layouts, not make them all the same layout style, so that when I'm looking through my pages, they don't all look similar. I mean, even though I do lots of mixed media and I add a lot of different stuff to my layouts, which tends to help keep it a lot more fresh, it is easy to get that same layout pattern. And here's the thing is, if that's your style and you do a certain layout way really well and it works for you and you don't mind that they're all the same, that's not a big deal. I mean, really, in all reality, it's not. So, but I like to kind of switch it up a little bit just because I think it helps keep me creatively growing, and because since I am a newer scrapbooker, I find that switching things up really helps my brain to keep going, and it helps keep me interested in just trying new things. And so yeah, you know. So anyway, I'm doing an L shaped. And I'm just layering some of the pebbles papers. And so here you see I pulled out a whole bunch of different like pieces, and I have all my Flair out and stuff, and so I'm starting to get them kind of figured out how I want them. Also, if you noticed, I changed my camera setup just a little. I moved it down a little, and so I'm kind of curious what you guys think, if you like it a little bit closer. I was really trying to get my camera arm out of the way. That metal piece that you see is my camera holder, and just the way that I have my setup, I don't have any other place to put it. Has to be where it is, like along that side. And so I find that it's a bit of an eyesore. I mean, it's not in the way or anything, but I just find it annoying. So just let me know if you like it a little bit closer. I'll keep it. If you don't, I'm gonna put it back up again, because I kind of like it with a little bit more space. But you know, I always thought I would try something new and see if it would help. So I decided to, at this point I have 5 Flair because I'm thinking the odd number will look nice, but I do switch it out and I take that noted one out near the flower. And I just think that it was, for me, it just felt like it was a little too much, and it made that corner really busy, and I knew I wanted to add a few other things to that corner. So, and a lot of this Flair is from Scraptastic because they give you quite a bit of Flair, and they have decent Flair, but not all of it is. I think the Oh Happy Day might be from Click Kits, maybe, or it could be from paper issues. Like sometimes I get their swag bags, and sometimes they'll have stuff in there. So I'm not really sure. I just put it all together, really, so I don't even keep track of what. So I do use some Dear Lizzie stuff, as you can see. I'm using some I Am from Simple Stories. I'm trying to tie colors and things that I think will match to go along with that Pebbles collection and make it feel a little bit fresher. So, because that collection is a little bit more vintagey, but it's still colorful. So by adding the Dear Lizzie and the Ellie Studios, I feel like it brightens it up a little bit more. I love that Better Together from the Dear Lizzie sticker sheet. That was really fun. So this is a picture of my daughters, and this was from 2001. So this is a long time ago. I'm starting to try to go back through some of my photos that I have of my kids when they're a little bit younger, and so I can remember to scrap those and not just current stuff, because I want to start getting started, or continue to scrap older stuff, because as you know, before you know it, they're gonna time goes on and I won't have all that scrapped. Oh, big deal. But anyway, it's not really that big of a deal when how you scrap or whatever. And I like to mix it up, but lately I've just been going through old photos and seeing my kids all cute. And I mean, Lonnie's hair is so long in this photo. Oh my gosh. It makes me really miss her hair. But there was nothing we could do. We had to cut it, and it fell out anyway, so. But she just looks so cute. It's amazing to me how much my kids have grown. I mean, Kaden, she's 5 now. Look at her, she's so little. Sorry for that noise, guys. That was on my computer. I don't know what it was. But so here I'm just adding some enamel dots because I am almost done. So I add enamel dots, and I'm trying to use blues, and then I use some grays and some glittered ones, some silver and white and black glittered. So just to kind of give it like match but not be too matchy. So I really like how this turned out. I think that I effectively used Flair. One other way that I was thinking that you could actually use Flair, but I didn't do it, was make cards. So I might go back through and use some of my scraps from today and make up some cards. And so then after I realized, oh, maybe I should put a title, because at first I wasn't going to. And so I found these Dear Lizzie stickers that I absolutely love, so I want to use them up. Or use them as much as possible. And it says hello, and then I'm going to write girls in this thickers, which is Jingle, and they're kind of glittery, but I like that they're white, so it just kind of helps. It blends in, but it still makes an impact, I think. So I liked how it turned out. It was fun. I think it was a fun layout with my fun girls, and so I'm glad I could share it with you guys, and I hope you guys go and check out Megan's layout, and you can see what she does with Flair. I can't wait to see what she does with Flair. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you later.